Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Annie.
And I am Dillon.
Great to have you back, Dillon. On this show, we rant, rave, and ramble about games that we like and sometimes games that we don't like. This week, we're back again with a guest, and we're here to ask, what is this game?
This game is The Quarry, the greatest horror video game I've ever played. And also, hello.
Hi, Hughezy. Good to have you.
Nice to meet you, Hughezy.
It's very great to meet you too. I was really wanted to come on this show because I know that Annie's one of my type of people. She's into comedy, knows how to tell a joke, and now we've got The Quarry. This video game show, which is exactly what I'm into.
This isn't a Dabbleverse show, but did either of you catch the roast?
I tuned in for about 30 seconds and was like, I don't like either of them individually, and together, I like it even less. Even through a Patrick Melton or a Tukey lens, I couldn't do it.
I watched some of it, but it's just that thing where it accomplishes nothing, and I just don't like Kevin Brennan, so I didn't want to give him the view.
FKB?
F him, right in the A.
FKB indeed. And F Jacob from this game, by the way. I want to say that right up front. F Jacob. What an asshole.
Why don't you like Jacob?
Because it's his fault. Everything is his fault.
Yeah.
Because his summer romance he could not let go. This is a very great narrative game. Took me a little while to get into it, and a lot of storytelling. It starts out a little slow, but once it got going, I really got into this game and was looking towards a second playthrough to see the other options.
Oh, well, that's the great thing about this game is I just finished playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I loved it and all that, but it also felt like you're being told what to do. They'll say, explore the cabin, but there's literally a shining yellow thing that's so while it's open world, you don't really get to explore the game. But in The Quarry, you're literally picking your story and you're picking your character directions. You can even literally choose. There's a section of the game where you could choose a romance story. And whether you want it to be a straight one, a gay one, whether there's no romance at all, which is why I'm here. And I just thought that, to me, this is why I think The Quarry is better than Red Dead.
Yeah, I felt that romance. It felt like it was supposed to be gay for me. With the characters going for Caitlin. Caitlin and Abby are both designed very well. I have a crush on Abby, and Caitlin is just absolutely gorgeous. So, like, when you have the option to go after Caitlin as a romance, you'd think that's what I would go for. But it's like, no, these two. Who is it? It's Dillon and Nick, I believe, are the characters.
Dillon and Ryan.
Dillon and Ryan are the two.
Mm-hmm.
Nick and Abby are the other romance. And then Emma and Jacob are the summer fling. Emma is done with it, and Jacob isn't. And it's all his fucking fault. He sabotages the van, and everyone who dies, it's all Jacob's fault. Who looks like young Ashton Kutcher to me. So, I have not had a playthrough yet where Jacob survives, and I am absolutely happy with that.
Yeah, and Annie was telling me before recording that she liked the game because you could separate the races.
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Right off the bat, my goal was to kill Caitlin because she's different.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to keep her alive because she gives me a boner. And that was, she was I was so angry on my first playthrough when she didn't make it to when she didn't survive. Complete opposite reaction of fuck yeah, Jacob died. Fuck you. This is all your fault. You deserve it. Caitlin, no. But they do have some wonderful death animations. That death animation of Caitlin getting it made up for the fact that I was like, I don't want her to die. Oh, the werewolf is just fucking pounding her on the ground. That makes it that makes it a little better for me. Is the fantastic death animations.
Well, she survived in my playthrough.
In my first playthrough, I got all the way up to chapter 7, right at the beginning, before my save corrupted, so I had to start over.
Oh,
I got up until that point, and I had lost Emma, and I just lost Abby. So whenever my save got deleted, I was able to start the game over and make the correct decisions to prevent both of them from dying. The game sets up a ton of deaths really early. I think the earliest a character can die is chapter 3. The second things start hitting the fan, characters can start dying, specifically Jacob. I think he has the most chances to die out of any character.
Yeah, and it really is that when they say how it lets you pick your story, this is because I'm 38, so watching these types of games, it's perfect for people from my era where like just say when you go to the character profile page, the character profiles are on VHS covers. So
I love that detail.
Yeah, where you can like turn the cover over and you get the backstory of whatever character and little hints and clues of what is possibly to come. If your character has to learn a new skill, you actually get like a how-to video, as in you play it in the machine and it's old film reel or worn out tape. It's like
an old cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a fun little addition of that like 1950s cartoon how to when you learn when it's teaching you a little new tutorial.
Yeah,
it's nicer than it just popping up on the screen and just being like a little bit of text or like, hey, quickly do this. The game kind of stops abruptly and switches to like an old cartoon and teaches you, hey, these are like what are quick time events. This is kind of the whole game. You're going to need to press a direction to avoid things, or sometimes don't press them if you want things to happen.
Yeah, you do not need to press it. Like sometimes it's bad to press it. And I learned that on the second playthrough. Actually, there's one moment where your character is running away from the Hackett family, who have now decided that, fuck it, we are not saving any of these campers. Let's kill them all. And it says play piano. I haven't done that option yet to play the piano, but I'm like, why would we play the piano at this moment?
Right, we're in the middle of running away from some murderers, like Resident Evil 7 style, where everyone in the family is trying to kill me, and I'm just, oh, hold on, let me just do.
But that's not fair to say, because every time I go to murder someone, if I hear them play "Angry Young Man" by Billy Joel, I'll think, I'll give it a minute to let them catch their breath.
You're right. If they played the right tune, it could probably get me to calm down.
Yeah.
Piano Man, that'll just get you more depressed, ready to kill.
But there's also the option in the game where literally for the screen you can play it in widescreen. You can put a worn out film reel filter on the thing, so that it's just to me that it's like a combination of all the great horror films from your youth that are scary but not actually terrifying. Like it give me like a Friday the 13th or a Scream type feeling of while playing it. I've played other horror games that have fucking given me anxiety attacks, but this one, it was like this was like a fun 2.5 hour long or whatever film that I would have, if this came out in the 90s, I'd have got Quarry tattoos now.
They make the story, very true to what they want it to be. Of 7 counselors, and then the eerie, creepy family. Finding out what the monster is as well. They didn't. They gave it a unique design, so you're figuring out exactly what this monster is, and dropping little hints that this thing attacking you is a werewolf. And you see the Nick character, I believe, the Abby's love interest, was the first one of the group to get attacked for me, and like seeing him go through the transformation, and yeah, they don't look like your classic werewolf. They gave it a unique design to keep you kind of guessing what this monster is, and it's a werewolf. If you get bit and survive, you're infected. You can become a werewolf.
You're getting into the story, which is a perfect opportunity for me to kind of set it up. So the game starts as you are two counselors driving towards
Laura and Max.
camp.
Yeah.
Laura and Max driving towards the camp. And you're going one day early because you're trying to get away from your life, and you figure, well, we'll just do it a day early. So they call ahead, and they go towards the camp, which is a old abandoned quarry, which has been turned into a nature reserve, lake, and a giant like kids camp. As you're driving there, you're run off the road, and as you're fixing your car, you come across a cop who tells you to go to a motel instead of going to the camp.
Creepy cop. Wonderfully creepy.
The actor for the cop is fantastic. I really like Travis, the cop. He's a good character. After he tells you to go to the motel, you're like, this guy's creepy, and you go to the camp anyway. Turns out that Laura never got the message to Mr. Hackett, so he doesn't know that you're supposed to be there. And you start poking around and go into the basement, and then you end up getting attacked. And then it cuts to 2 months later, where it's the end of summer, and the kids are leaving, and now you and the counselors are sitting there waiting for Mr. Hackett to give you your stuff back so you can, go home. It's the end of summer, time to go.
And it's happy-go-lucky David Arquette doing the voice and the design David Arquette. Everyone likes David Arquette. Well, most people like David Arquette. I don't think Courtney Cox is a big fan.
Are they still together?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. I don't pay attention to celebrity drama.
Oh, it's so interesting.
No, not at all. But this story is the game starts off right away with you just kind of, it's like a teen drama. Although they're all like clearly 20-year-old adults or whatever. They're all over 18.
Actually, that's another thing that goes very along with the 1980s aesthetic. They really didn't give a fuck if their teenagers looked like they were in their mid-30s for most movies of this style. So it looks proper. Like Abby is one of the few that looks more like someone 17, 18 years old, but she has this tattoo. What's this under 18-year-old doing with a tattoo on her hand?
And it's a big tattoo. It's like half a sleeve. It's not like, just like a tiny little hand tattoo. So yeah, she's obviously a little bit older.
Maybe she went down to Mexico for a vacation. They'll tattoo anyone. They were tattooing a drunk guy when I walked in there, also drunk, and tattooed me.
The story at the beginning focuses around Jacob and his summer fling with Emma because he doesn't want it to end. So he figures he can probably sabotage the van that they're going to leave in so he can have one more night with her.
Yeah, that's one of the first choices you have, to break the fuel line or take, the rotator arm. And my decision was, well, we can put the rotator arm back in. So far, I haven't done a playthrough where I break the fuel line, but we do have the Hag of Hackett's Quarry giving us in between chapters. Like that's a story that they tell the kids, the Hag of Hackett's Quarry. But you find out she's actually real, and you find her little tarot cards. I do enjoy that. The little collectible tarot cards.
Did you catch the tarot card in the prologue?
Yeah, I got the prologue tarot card to see the little crystal ball of the van motor catching on fire. So I'm like, okay, when I do break the fuel line, it's gonna catch on fucking fire. It is not gonna be fixable.
I went with that option just because that's what the crystal ball was indicating, and I thought maybe the crystal ball was supposed to be what we were supposed to be doing. Hughezy, in your playthrough, did you get any of these tarot cards, and did you follow the visions that they were giving you?
I did usually follow the visions, but I've since learned that it's kind of beneficial to not take help from her, which I don't know if that's a spoiler or not for anyone. But yeah, no, when I played it, I decided to burn the car because, Chad's fucking cool, brother. And I thought, oh, well, this could be, or Dillon, sorry. but or Jacob, they all look alike to me, if you know what I mean. And I just thought, well, that'd be interesting, so that they would definitely be stuck there. But this is why the game's so great, because now I can go back and play it again and get a different story.
Yeah, there's so many different. According to just like a Google search, it says there's 186 endings. Now that seems like a lot, and it is. But what that really means is total possible combinations of things that could happen leading up to the ending. The actual ending of the game can only really end in two ways, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah,
But yeah, the different variations of who's dead, who's alive, and who's infected. My first playthrough, no one was infected at the end.
Well,
My
except for
second
Nick.
playthrough,
Well, you said at the end.
so many people were infected at the end of my second playthrough.
Okay. and the great thing is that you don't play as one person, because when I initially got the game, and your first character's Jacob, you kind of think of it like, oh god, this guy's gonna like dude bro the way forward, and this guy's gonna headbutt the werewolf or something like that. But thankfully not. And also what I loved is that while you have this whole bunch of characters to play through, you don't have to. It's up to you whether they're likable characters. Because in the game it literally gives you the options to choose their answers to questions. So if somebody wants to react sarcastically or the opposite, or sincerely, I couldn't think of the other word. It's all up to you. So if I'm rude to Abby at the first question, she may not want to help me for something that happens in chapter 5, and it's that sort of stuff where I'm just like, sign me up. Like we're playing our own fucking Scream episode.
And I leaned into the Abby romance. I was like, you two clearly were supposed to be a summer couple and fucked it up. So my first playthrough, I was doing everything I could to get the Abby Nick romance to blossom. And then the second playthrough, I just did a lot of the opposite. So they never had that kiss on the log. They just very less nice to each other and more rude to each other all throughout the second playthrough, because I didn't choose every single thing that was opposite. I haven't picked up the fireworks yet. You go through the general store when you find out you're going to be stuck there, and both times I'm like, man, I feel like these fireworks is going to kill someone really quickly. So my third playthrough, I'm going to have to pick up the fireworks because I didn't pick them up either time so far.
They actually end up saving somebody if given the right opportunity.
And the great thing as well is that it's not your usual game where there's no real right or wrong option. Like there's a bit in it where, try not to give spoilers, but you find a weapon and you're not always supposed to use the weapon, because if you do, certain people will die immediately.
Yes, the rustling in the bushes where you can shoot. Yeah, that part I haven't. Neither time I shot so far, but yeah, I guess that was immediate. That's I guess probably the first possible death, because I haven't shot the rustling in the bushes yet.
Yeah. If you're not paying attention to like what's going on outside of that immediate scene, you might think you're about to get attacked. But if you're paying attention and remembering, okay, 2 or 3 scenes ago, this character was trying to come towards us, so it could be an attack or it could be a character. So I'm just gonna risk it.
Yeah, and not to change topics, but it was just confirmed today that the trailer for GTA 6 is being released in 30 days' time by Rockstar's own Twitter. Confirmed that. And the big rumor is that it's going to be a pick-your-own-story type game. So it's not just going to be the usual rob the train, steal the plane. It's like, so you get to really go in depth in it. And that's why...
And as you were saying of Red Dead 2, where it's a big open world, they really tell you exactly the way you must do those missions.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, this game, you got to get pretty up close to the targets, the different evidence, the little things hidden around the world. Like, it will pop up and show you once you get really close to it, hit A, and you can investigate this. But yeah, it's not shining like far, far away. You really got to look around to find all those pieces of evidence.
Yeah, there was a.
And even if you're moving too quick, you can walk right over those little beams of light to say, hey, press A to pick this up. If you're like briskly walking, you can just walk right past it.
Exactly. And there's a bit in the game that when I initially played it, it was when you're Abby and Nick and you're going for a walk through the woods, and there's this enormous open. You're supposed to be collecting logs for the fire, and then at no point did I think I've got a log for you, baby, because that would be immature and rude. But where there's this enormous woods to walk through, and part of you thinks I'm gonna be here for an hour and a half, just slowly walking around all these fucking stupid areas, and even though there may be nothing there, but there is something there that comes into play later on in the option that I played, which I'll not go into more detail, but you know what I'm talking about, baby.
I don't think I've found it yet. Looking for sticks, going down the rocky road, I found nothing, and then the second option, there's nothing extra really to be found. You end up in the end where the rocky road would send you. So, like somewhere in the rocky road, I know I'm fucking missing something. I need to investigate it better.
But it reminds me a lot like those old Zelda games, where you never know what you're going to find, so you just got to search every fucking thing in every place. But what I love about it as well is that you don't have unlimited time. Like so you do need to search the area, but there's also the chance that there's every once in a while, if you're taking too long, they'll cut to a shot of something is watching you from afar, which is the game's way of kind of saying, you know, you might want to hurry the fuck up and move on and accept the fate with these logs.
I think it's really clever because the game uses that also to it sets it up to scare you and to say, hey, move along. But after it's done doing that scare, it usually tilts the camera towards the direction that you're supposed to be going. Specifically in like the scene with Abby, if you're just kind of wandering around for a while, you'll get scared, and then the camera will be like facing this way whenever you were walking that way just a second ago, and it's like, okay, maybe I should go that way.
That happened to me with Emma. I'm wandering around looking for the lodge, not exactly knowing where I'm supposed to go. Emma gets scared, and it points you, this fucking way, idiot. This way is the lodge.
And one of the things that we didn't mention is that the actors are played by legitimate actors, and they use that Unreal Engine 5, so the character design, like Abby's played by Ariel Winter from Modern Family, and then we have that guy Max is played by the fucking guy from Righteous Gemstones.
I don't recognize any of them except for Caitlin's character, because she played in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Oh, Brenda Song. Little trivia about her. She has a child with Macaulay Culkin.
Really?
Yeah, that fucking her.
Which one? Was dating Mila Kunis for a while. He has a wang that's gotten around. Good for Macaulay.
Yeah, he has a wang that earns $4 to $6 million per year in royalties from Home Alone 1 and 2. Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1.
Oh, arguably. It's the first movie, but just done better with a bigger budget and, able to correct the mistakes of the first movie.
And a fun gag of Marv being electrocuted, and for just a couple of seconds, you've got the skeleton Marv. Fun little dumb gag I'll always remember from Home Alone 2.
And the greatest president of all time is in it. That's what Annie was telling us before recording anyway.
I love Trump. He's hilarious.
Yeah. But there's also, you mentioned the family of hillbillies, played, of course, by Ethan Suplee and Lance Henriksen.
Fucking love Ethan Suplee. He went from being like the cliche fat guy to now just being a guy. So good for him for losing all that weight. I loved him in Blow. I was disappointed he didn't have too much dialogue. But
which character is he?
Bobby.
Bobby,
Bobby is Ethan Suplee. Not a lot of dialogue for as big a fan I am of Ethan Suplee.
Yeah, and of course there's Lynn Shay, and then the creepy cops played by Ted Raimi, of course, the actor brother of or Sam Raimi or whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh, Lynn Shay, that's the older lady, Mother Hackett. I love her. That she was a go-to for the Farrelly brothers in Kingpin, a few other of their movies. I was a big fan. I love seeing her pop up places.
At the end of my game, she was unfortunately the only one of the Hacketts that had to die. I mean, one of them is you can't avoid. You have to kill him, or you're basically going to lose the game.
Yeah, everyone is infected. Everyone will be infected. My second playthrough, I wasn't quick enough on the draw because that's how Caitlin got killed in my first playthrough. Is that I thought I killed the werewolf, but it was like, nope, you missed him. Smash, smash, smash. And the second time I was like, all right, let me take my time, make sure I kill this werewolf. And yeah, you get chapter 10 is so abbreviated. If you don't take out that Hackett member, if you don't take out that werewolf that you must take out, you're. Oh, but it did give me the satisfying scene of Travis and Lara's mutual termination. I think was the trophy I got for that one. So that was a fun little addition there.
I love that there's just so many ways that one scene can end, depending on what you do in the scene and what you did 3 to 4 chapters before to set up for the scene. Since we're talking about the scene with Travis and the werewolf and the 2 characters that are in there, you drop down into the fight, and right at the beginning, Bobby's in there, and what you did, I think just a couple of scenes before then, Bobby's going to die in the scene if you did one of 2 choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually don't know what I did different in the second one. Bobby died the first one, and he didn't the second one. I'm not exactly sure which choice led to that.
Yeah, it's crazy how the little things can build up, because there's a chance way in the beginning of the game where you get a chance to shoot Bobby. And if you do, it does little to nothing. He kind of just walks through the bullets like it did nothing to him. But at the end of the game, if you hurt him again, he ends up dying. So it's like, wait, I thought you were like the Hulk.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The typical video game option isn't generally the right option to go with. And that's why I thought this game was easily a 5 out of 5. Because the fact that it gave you, going back to the Jacob guy, because he starts off as like the Adam Sandler fucking douche, but then it allows you to let him become more of a mature type person and sort of realize that, oh yeah, I was with her because it was a summer fling and nothing more, and you have to sort of grow up and be more realistic about it, or just let him be a cunt.
Yeah, I really like that you have the option to steer everyone to just be completely unlikable. Everyone can just be constantly snapping at everyone else, threatening people, pointing guns at people. Speaking of pointing guns, that was the first time in the game that I got anxiety. At the end of like chapter 2, Jacob and Nick go to do like a little shooting contest out in the woods, and whenever it's Jacob's turn, he misses his first shot, and then like he's like, "Oh, no big deal," and then just casually turns and points the gun right at Nick's chest, and I immediately I was panicking. I'm like, is Nick just gonna die here in just one shot because Jacob's an idiot? But no, then he just turns, and then rightfully Caitlin freaks out at him.
He's just pointing the gun at both people that are around there, and it's like, no, you should not have this. I don't give a fuck how many of the bottles you could possibly hit.
You're disqualified.
Pointing the gun at all of us.
Yeah, and the great thing is, because it's not like the regular sort of action game, in that when you get the option to fire a gun, you have a very small time frame, and you have to either fire it or that's it, you've missed your opportunity, and you don't get to reload 40 times. It's like you get a shot or run, or you or someone around you is going to get murdered, or I was going to say worse, but no, that's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, infected is less bad than murdered. Infected at the minimum and murdered at the absolute worst.
In some really like convoluted setups, being infected can actually be beneficial to you. Towards the end of the game, you're Caitlyn and another character, if they're still alive, are running, and you're being attacked by a werewolf. And if either of you are infected, the werewolf will ignore whoever is infected. So it gives that character a really good opportunity to live through this attack, and then now you have to deal with this other character. Or if they're both infected, well, then, now you have to deal with another consequences. Now I have to get all my characters uninfected.
Are you a fan of these types of horror games?
I really like them, but full honesty, I didn't enjoy playing this game.
Oh, how come?
I didn't at first, and
probably my computer.
That also hurt you.
My computer, having my save deleted twice was pretty heartbreaking. According to Steam, I played this game for 40 hours. That's like a whole work week.
40 hours.
So, not too exciting. I didn't like. I was dreading trying to boot up the game and just like, okay, I hope my computer doesn't crash. I hope it doesn't freeze during this part. I hope I can record this thing. It was stressful because not of the game. The game was really enjoyable. I liked every moment in the game. You and I had talked before the show, Hughezy, about the game, and I said, oh, I've never heard of it, whatever. I started playing it, and right after the beginning of Chapter 1, I had like a big click in my head. I was like, wait, I know that character. Wait, I know this character. I know all of these characters. Where the fuck have I seen this before? So I started typing in YouTubers that I watch and like the Quarry, and I found the person that I had watched it. Turns out that I didn't really watch it. I had it on, and it was just kind of like playing on another screen while I was doing stuff. So I have a lot of bits and pieces of the Quarry, but I hadn't actually have any idea what's going on.
And you could just watch it as a movie. Yeah, as we were talking about. You can get just as much, well, not as much, but a decent amount of entertainment just watching this as a movie. I did, once we did the flashback and went back to where Laura and Max were like kidnapped in the jail, like that felt like it was so slow. Like the story felt like it was going so fast, and those story elements were important, but it just felt like as fast as the game was going, now it's at a screeching halt as we're getting around the jail and learning that backstory. Even the second playthrough, I felt the same way of like, all right, we're really rolling. The story is going. The pace of the game is going very well now. And then going back, chapter 6 or 7 is the jail chapter. Felt like chapter 1 again, just very slow again after they picked up the speed, which is necessary for the first chapter to be slow as it's building up.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are slow on purpose, building up everything, building up the stakes, giving you the shots of the Hacketts kind of stalking you, making you kind of question the loyalty in between the people and the thing. It's very important, the first 2 chapters. I think...
And you don't know who the Hacketts are at that point.
Right.
Like they put out the hunting season sign and you think, oh, they're hunting humans, these hillbillies right next to the Quarry. But no, those are other Hacketts, and they actually have good intentions until you piss them off. Like they want to save all the campers until they're pushed over the edge. Fuck it, bloodshed, kill them all. Once they're pushed over the edge. And the point where Lynn, where Constance, that big showdown with her, that like it's the gloves are off, whether she survives or doesn't survive that encounter.
She did not survive.
But in that game, in that jail cell section, that had the one real stupid plot hole where the main the character Laura gets one of her eyes cut out, so she runs off to bandage it and then goes for a nap. It's like how did you survive that? Like, wouldn't you have bled to death overnight?
As far as I know, this part of your face doesn't have a whole lot of like veins or arteries. So provided that the claw didn't go like into the brain, then it's very possible that it just clawed this, and the ones on her face are flesh wounds, and all she had to do was clean her eye to prevent it from being infected. it's very possible that she would have messed it up and died from the infection if she didn't get bit by the werewolf and then end up being healed from the thing. But as set up by Laura's character, she is being trained to be a vet, so she has at least
a rudimentary knowledge.
We'll say C-level medical knowledge. You know, she has some idea how to do it, and even Travis is impressed by her ability to clean it up and not have died from it. So
that was actually supposed to be her duties, was on medical. When you come across the list of, here's the counselors who didn't show up, and it gives what they were supposed to be doing. She was supposed to be the nurse if she wouldn't have gotten kidnapped by good old creepy Travis.
But the thing that I particularly loved about this game is that it's a full story. Like there's no plans for the Quarry 2 or any of that. Like, so this is it, and it's like one of those, as we say, like old school films from back in the 80s and 90s where the idea of sequels wasn't always the plan, and that's why I just think that there's so much. See, to me, there's so much replay value in this. Like with Red Dead, once you've completed it, that's it. You can play it again, but the story never changes. But with the Quarry, as Annie pointed out, there's over 180 different possible ways. Like, you could almost play it every day and get a different story. I don't know.
Yeah, like the big bad of the game, the White Wolf, as they call him. You want to take out the White Wolf, and like, I wasn't even introduced to the White Wolf on my second playthrough because Chapter 10 is so abbreviated from so many of the characters dying. And I do like the option.
There's so many sections that just don't happen. Because if Ryan's dead for whatever reason, like half the chapter doesn't happen because half the chapter is you playing as Ryan.
And I actually did look up on YouTube some of the clips of Laura at different points where she could get it. I'm like, oh my god, she can die so early that I didn't realize with some of the bad options. I imagine playing the piano. I haven't seen what happens there. I am curious.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to play that damn piano on my third playthrough just to see what the fuck happens.
I haven't done it, but
distract.
I'm just scared Bobby's going to blast through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh yeah, there's this option with Laura in the room with the Hackett family, Constance, and all them of distract. I did watch that YouTube video, and it's so funny and bizarre. I don't think I ever would have chosen that distract option myself because it just didn't make sense.
So, do you have a clip of it?
Oh, I didn't pull the distract option. Yeah, the distract option is a bizarre one. The YouTube clip said it's the most bizarre. I did pull a bunch of the death sequences. The as I said, I got a crush on Abby as a character, and Caitlin is just gorgeous. I want the two characters who I'm attracted to make it to the end. But oh my god, Abby's death sequence when you choose the wrong options is. I was like, this is such a fantastic death sequence. Totally worth it losing this character who I absolutely did not want to see die. And yeah, if you choose the wrong things, here is Abby's wonderful death sequence.
Oh, brutal transformations in this game. You just explode.
Her boyfriend, werewolfing.
Oof, damn. That's how I lost Abby.
Yeah, my second playthrough, I got that option. Abby made it to the end on my first one, and I was like, oh, I didn't want Abby to get it, but wow, what a fantastic death scene for Abby to get it as
Whenever
such.
it first happened to me, it was I was really upset about it, but it was so hard for me to take it seriously because the graphics or whatever was spazzing out. Her hair was glitching. It was just doing this. So while her head was laying on the ground, her hair was spazzing.
Every once in a while, Abby's hair.
That was one of the things about the game that I found distracting, is that the water in the game is some of the worst CG water I've ever seen. It reminded me of the Aztec level of fucking Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it was so fake looking. Like when you go,
the splashing with Jacob and Emma,
Yeah.
not the good.
It's like they're
splashing
throwing
effects.
like
So
toilet
bad.
paper at each other. It's not even water. It's like flat textures.
But it's as Annie mentions, like it's the little details where there's a part when you're originally going through, you get the chance to explore the cabins, and there's a toy bear in one of the cabins. If you don't choose to bring that bear with you, or whatever you choose to do with that bear, will completely affect the ending for one of the characters during a very important scene. And
Yeah, it's life and death. That bear. My second playthrough, I chose to pick the bear, and I was so happy I picked up the bear. I didn't the first time, and yeah, the second time, that bear saved my character that I didn't
I
want to
don't know.
die.
yeah, although
I don't know why you would, as a player, go into the cabin, go up to the bear, and then have the option to pick it up and be like, this won't come in handy.
yeah. But it's funny you say that, because I remember when you're playing as a Jacob at the start and you're exploring the main hall or whatever. There's a bit where you go past the freezer or the fridge and you go, "Whoa, that's a big fridge. I'd hate to get trapped in there."
Jacob does so much
Yeah,
foreshadowing.
it
It's
hits you-
ridiculous. Everything he comments on.
Yeah, hit you with a lead pipe.
Yeah.
Don't want to get trapped in there. Whack. Okay. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, young Ashton.
There's
Kutcher.
another scene where he's walking along trying to find Emma, and he looks over a walkway and he's like, wow, wouldn't want to fall there. And later on, if he meets up with Emma, depending on what choices you make with Emma, and you're running past there, Emma ends up falling off right where Jacob's like, oh, wouldn't want to fall off here. He just foreshadows like everything. So after you play the game, or after the thing happens, if you like went and interacted with it, you're like, should have paid more attention. Should have paid more attention to that.
Yeah. To me, it's all just like, I don't know if that's kind of like tongue-in-cheekness, where it's like in Scream when the all-time greatest actor, Jamie Kennedy, says, people shouldn't walk off alone, which is ironically how he dies in the even better Scream 2, which everybody loves so much. And but so part of me thought, was that kind of cheesy on purpose, or was it just?
I think it's cheesy on purpose because, like you said, it's trying to be like a 80s horror movie or even a 90s horror movie where things are deliberately cliche on purpose to like kind of make fun of the audience, but also be like, if you're paying attention, this will reward you.
And even for the audience, I was talking to Annie in the DMs about this, apart from exchanging meetings for an ex-clan meeting, is that in the game there's a podcast you can listen to that kind of not fills in the backstory, but it kind of explains part of the plot. For I kind of skipped it all, if I'm being honest with you, but there's little stuff like that really, to me, adds to the atmosphere at all, because I am very, very easily scared. And when the creepy music started playing, I was like, nope, put the lights on, play it during the day, everything will be safe.
And he gave me a heads up of that podcast because, I just went right into the game, and then I went and listened to it once she told me about it. And the jail chapter, I got a nice giggle when you find the cease and desist letter to the podcast. That was my favorite part of the jail chapter, is coming across the cease and desist Travis is yet to send out to the Weird and
Bizarre
Wild, or whatever
yet
the fuck it is,
bonafide.
podcast of Stop Talking. Yeah, bizarre yet bona fide. Stop talking about the Hag of Hackett's Quarry. This is a cease and
During
desist.
that jail chapter, did you get the clues to get into Travis's computer? So yeah, you get to
Yes.
listen to the podcast
Yeah.
a little bit in the game if you didn't go and listen to it on the menu. Something that I also like is at the very, very end of the game, whenever the credits are rolling, the newest episode of the podcast will come out, and they will cover all of the pieces of evidence that you covered or that you collected throughout the game. There are like a total of 10 pieces of evidence because there's 10 chapters.
I still haven't found 3 of them, damn it.
I missed chapter 3s because chapter 3s, you have to make a choice with Jacob in chapter 1, and if you don't, then you can't get that piece of evidence.
And there's actually a quick time event you must mess up, I found out, because there's this one part in the chapter, I forget, I think 5, where you just have such a little amount of options and so little going on. I'm like, what even the fuck is up with this? I had to ask, what the fuck is up with this Caitlin part in chapter 5, 6, whichever one it was? And I was like, oh, in order for there to be something, you actually have to fuck up one of the QuickTime events.
When she's being harassed by Bobby?
Yes. That one, I actually had to go up and cheat. I'm like, what the fuck even is this? We're completely on the tracks for this Caitlin portion of this chapter. And it's like, you need to fuck up one of the QuickTime events. And then it'll lead to something.
But that's the glory of it all, is that you don't have to get it all right. And the obvious option may not always be the right one. Like, being the brave action hero can sometimes get you killed instead of sitting back and just, like, there was a bit when what's the character name? Ryan and
Dillon?
it Nick? No.
Ryan and Dillon are the two that it seems like there's a homosexual relationship blossoming.
Yeah, there's a bit where they get into an argument over a gun, and for some reason, because to me it seemed like Ryan was sort of in on it, because he kept talking about his brother being missing and his long-time connection with the Hackett family. It kind of made me think, was the werewolf his brother?
Ryan is a little bit suspicious at the beginning because he's like almost trying to cover for Chris and everyone else.
Yeah, he's really like a suck up. He was clearly teacher's favorite throughout the summer, Ryan. And like you have the option of when everyone's like, we're gonna have a party. No, guys, Chris said we don't want to go against Chris.
And Ryan, for some reason, really doesn't want you to have a gun in it. And to me, that really added to it. Like why does he not want you to have potentially, to defend your rights, brother?
I think at the moment, I agree that it was very suspicious. But the more you get to know Dillon, he's kind of an idiot sometimes. Not this Dillon.
No.
Well, you know.
Yeah, he does foolish things, and when Dillon has an interaction with Caitlin of like, hey, we could have had a thing going. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be gay. You're supposed to be gay with Ryan here. Don't talk to Caitlin like you wanted a thing to get going.
If the writers wanted the players to feel like Ryan and Caitlin were supposed to be more of a thing, at the very beginning, Caitlin and Jacob are talking, and Jacob makes fun of Caitlin for liking Ryan but never making a move on him. But that's like the only setup you get between Ryan and Caitlin liking each other. The first real playable scene as Ryan is with Dillon, and then it gives you all this time to build up this repertoire with Dillon, and it even gives you the chance as Dillon to flirt with Ryan, and then they go on another scene where they're going to the radio hut alone together. At this point, there's like no chances for Dillon and Caitlin to even build a relationship if you want to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's only when they go to the to the car scrapyard where they start getting a little romance, and at that point, I've decided.
But that's
gay.
Dillon and Caitlin.
Yeah,
that's not Ryan and Caitlin.
Oh yes. Sorry.
See, the writers did not want Dillon and Caitlin to be, or Ryan and Caitlin to be a thing. They wanted Ryan and Dillon to be a thing. That's why they gave them like 2 to 3 scenes alone together. That's just my opinion. I think that's how the game is supposed to go, just because that's how it sets it up.
But that's right. It's even like the cover of the game, or the poster, whatever you want to call it. As soon as I seen the poster before I seen any footage or the trailer, and I was like, I'm playing this fucking game. Like, 'cause it's so old school, VHS-tastic, and like, cause you can see what it's about, but you don't really know what it's about. And with modern technology, and then you can see, of course, what's that guy's name? David Arquette's on the cover, so you know it's going to be good if David Arquette's in it. And I just thought that this like in that whole being able to pick the relationship stuff. I played the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and in that you can have the team fall out, and then they won't help you during certain action scenes towards the end, which blew my mind. I did think that it would have been a fun option to have also been able to play it as the Hackett family, to play from their point of view.
Right, the same game, same story, but just from different characters' perspectives. I think that would be great. Making choices as Travis would be really cool, because I like Travis a lot.
The first playthrough, I had one Hackett member survive to the end. That was Caleb. And the second time, I was kind of like, let's see how many members of the family I can keep alive. And looking at my notes here, all of the Hacketts survived on my second playthrough, which does make for a kind of abbreviated experience, as we said. Like, one of them must die in order for this game to be more complete. And oh god, do I love Lynn's death so much. As I said with Abby's death, like, so satisfying. Lynn's death, like the only way that she survives this is if you don't press A over and over again, like this says.
See, that's why you never fight over a fucking gun. Dang, she looks like a clicker.
You got too much jelly and jam there on your face. Yeah, the death sequences are just so good. So and I was so disappointed Lynn, the actress.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. Was that the fucking isotopes came up in your suggested videos?
Yes, it does. It started coming up on my suggested videos. I forget if it was on the air or off the air, where I talked about how I am a fan of pop music, and Shut Up and Dance With Me. I know it's fucking awful, but seeing that the Isotopes covered Shut Up and Dance With Me, I'm like, oh my god, that's my favorite pop song.
I hate Carl.
You hate Carl. Who doesn't hate Carl?
Sorry I interrupted you there, Dillon.
All good. That was right in your face of the Isotopes cover album. I don't know what else is on there, but Shut Up and Dance With Me. I know it's a dumb pop song. I fucking love Shut Up and Dance With Me. And the fact the Isotopes covered it, it's now in my rotation of things I listen to in the morning.
That's disappointing to hear.
We all love our shitty pop songs. And the music in the Quarry as well. I really love all the music cues. They picked
really
such good songs to really set the mood. And one of the actresses, Siobhan something, I'm unfamiliar with her. She was on the soundtrack as well. One of the songs were Siobhan's. I forget which character that Siobhan
I think
plays.
she plays Laura.
Okay, yeah, Laura, the voice actress for her. She's also on the soundtrack. I don't know which one of the songs are hers, but all the songs just set the mood so damn well.
Yeah, some of them come in real hard, and they only play like a couple seconds of it, but that's all you need to set up that. Like where Laura is fixing her eye, and it's like monster as she's like stitching up her eye and shit, because she just was attacked by a monster, and now she's worried she's going to become one. So,
but she wasn't bitten; she was only scratched, so she is not infected at this point. And I think like everyone has the potential to be infected. I haven't gotten everyone infected yet, but yeah, just by Emma was never infected on my first time through, and yeah, just. The small little choice will get Emma infected.
How long do you think it will be before it's announced that they're doing the Quarry TV show or miniseries?
They would probably do a Dark Pictures anthology series before the Quarry, because it's more popular.
Yeah.
Although I think the Quarry is better.
Getting more of the origin story of initially being infected by the White Wolf by Silas. I think that would be a good jump off for a few seasons, because like this is the finale. This is the end. A series could
There's like
fill in the
6 years
blanks.
leading up to this. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have 6 years, 6 seasons, or even more if you take it slower of everything that led up to them. And I love finding the evidence of little Kaylee Hackett writing a note to her grandmother in that southern dialect it's enough of this nonsense already, Grandmom.
Oh, right, absolutely. I really like in the credits how Grace gets Anton to read it, and he's just like reading it with that twang. I really like it. It was good.
Another classic that Annie just mentioned with the Dark Anthology series. I also played The Devil in Me, which scared the living shit out of me because I got it while we were still coming towards the end of lockdown, and we still had restrictions, so I could stay up late still and not have to worry about being late to work. Bad idea, because that had these fucking jump scares that you'd be like, Jesus Christ, and then you'd be awake to 4 a.m. thinking, well, I'm gonna die. The game is real. The person's in the bathroom. No more pissing until October.
Got to get out my Riley Martin piss jug. I cannot leave this room. Yeah. The covers still protect me, though. Little child rules still apply as an adult with monsters. Covers are bulletproof and bite-proof and just monster-proof altogether.
Yeah, but it's the weird thing about video games playing from bed is that you need to have your feet free for some reason to feel like you're going to do well, because you blame the quilt for covering your feet. It's like, that's why I'm fucking dying, and you kick the quilt off and your feet are all, your wee tootsies are flying around.
So you're saying you don't game in bed?
Not anymore, because I got the WWE game, and you start becoming such a fucking cheesemeister, because you think, yeah, I won the real life fake fight.
I did get the AEW game. They have a solid core, but they released an unfinished game like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Got a similar combat to Def Jam Fight for New York, my favorite fighting game of all time. But we are talking about the Quarry, not a fighting game.
I think Dillon made a really good point that the game ramps up really well up until Chapter 7, where it kind of flashes back. I think the game would, if you could just install like a mod for the game to just take Chapter 7 and put it at the end of Chapter 4. Because it would kind of set up what is happening, and it might spoil a couple of things for you, the player, and you might have more knowledge than you need to at that point. But once the action starts and Laura gets into it, it's really annoying to just go and start walking around a police station looking for clues and hanging out with your werewolf boyfriend.
Yeah, I do love the first time you have the option when you're in the jail to you're going to try to overtake Travis, and it's just such an impotent, shitty attempt that he's immediately like, "Let's go." But when you try to befriend him, Max, T-Money, that gave me a legit laugh of Max trying to
T-Money! Can I call you T-Money?
Yeah, that just dumb T-Money trying to win him over so obviously really gave me a good laugh.
Yeah, the game definitely has the very common video game flaw where conversations go on really, really long. And it's clearly because it's like, well, in the game maker's like, well, it would actually take 9 minutes to get from here to there, so we need to have a 9-minute conversation no matter what. And and that's, as you talk about the jail cell conversation, like, this is fucking ridiculous, especially because we already knew the ending of this plot before it began, because Laura turns up at the quarry, or at the camp.
Yeah, we've got a good idea of how it's ending. Oh, so yeah, that's another reason it's frustrating.
I get one for you. Do you remember the part when you're starting to explore the campsite during the day and you find a bear trap?
Mm-hmm.
Did you set the bear trap off or leave it?
Well, I interacted with it, and Dillon is a big idiot, so he just comes over and puts a stick in it and just is like, all right, well, that's good, and just leaves it there.
Oh, yeah, well, you...
So, yeah, I set it off.
Yeah, so you're supposed to not set it off so that it slows down, so that it gives you, apparently, because of that, because the thing gets hurt before it comes to attack the two guys in the radio cell, it gives you more time for the quick time events.
Oh, that's neat.
Like, it's a lot of info. I love that shit.
And another one of those things you choose early on, whereas Abby and Emma, do I break open the door and get my bags? Well, it's like, of course we're going to break open the door and get your bags. And if you don't break open that door, someone will get infected later on because they will attract the attention of the werewolf.
Yeah, the game sets up scenes chapters in advance, and it's really thrilling for me watching all of these points come together. So whenever you pause the game, you have like a couple of sections in the menu. You have the map, of course, because all good games need a map, even though the map doesn't no good at all. But then you have your clues section where you can look at all of the little pieces of evidence that you've picked up throughout the place. Like, oh, that was a sign I read. Oh, that's a quote that I read on a piece of paper. And then you have the evidence section, which is the one crucial detail that you need to essentially prove the camper's innocence. No matter what, at the end of the game, the story will end and the credits will roll. And it turns out if any of the teens are still alive, the counselors are still alive, they will be charged with whatever happened at the camp. So it's kind of shitty for them.
My second playthrough, it was a freak bear attack that caused all it on my second playthrough.
So you as the player need to collect the evidence to try to build a case that it was the Hackett's, basically. They did this.
What did you think of the ending of the game?
After the credits roll or before the credits roll?
Before the credits roll.
I think the game could have done with another 5 or 10 minutes of maybe choice making to feel like it was more important, because without spoiling it, you finally get to the White Wolf, which has started all of this. And you basically have the option, do I kill the White Wolf or do I not kill the White Wolf? Well, why would you not kill the White Wolf? The game doesn't give you a lot of supporting things other than just, feel bad. Well, I don't have that kind of guilty conscience. If this guy is a monster and is killing people and turning other people into monsters that are killing more people, the only choice is to fucking kill this guy.
Yeah, they don't give you more reason not to kill the White Wolf. Like, this will end everything. We don't... We're not on the side of the Hag of Hackett's Quarry enough to spare the life of the White Wolf like she wants you to do. I do enjoy Laura and Travis's dynamic as they're finally working together after, she's just got such this deep hatred for him for kidnapping her for months, for the entire summer.
2 months, yeah. Fuck you, Travis, yeah.
Yeah, because for me, it just kind of felt like, you kill the creature and the game's done. And then there's a old school 80s where are they now type thing. And
I hated that part. Yeah. So I think that's what you were asking. I hate at the end of the game, any character that's still alive or even the characters that are dead, it does like a still screenshot of them, really cinematically, and being like, Jacob, he made it out, blah, 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 by doing this. Yeah. And then it'll be like, Dillon did a backflip off the pool and hid in the pool all night, or whatever. Just tell you what happened. Or Caitlin got beat up by a werewolf and is dead. It's like, okay, you're not going to actually show me what happens at the end of this story. The only actual conclusion we get is the podcast as the credits roll, where it's months already after everything has already happened, and presumably anyone that's still alive is already being in court and stuff. So the game literally just ends after you pull the trigger or don't pull the trigger. And
or if you fuck up,
it's where the game needs to end, but it's also so disappointing.
Yeah, it's that was the real shame to me. It's that it was kind of like that they'd spent so much time world building, but they never actually spent enough time with the story, because it was such a flat ending that even though they've said that there was never a plan to make a sequel to it, I just thought, but that's not a fun way to end it. It should have at least teased something, or maybe somebody goes back home and they start showing symptoms of being infected still, and the camera cuts. So there's your sequel to Quarry in the City, which actually, no, don't do that at all. But oh no, actually, do it. Quarry on a boat. Thank you.
Quarry in a boat, just like Jason Goes to Manhattan.
Nice.
He doesn't actually go to Manhattan. He goes to, what was it, Vancouver, and most of the movie is on a boat. Quarry on a boat.
So in short, I think the ending is disappointing because there's so much choice, there's so much variety, and so much flavor going out throughout the game that the game ending on a binary note it's so disappointing. It either ends you kill him or you don't kill him.
Yeah, and because it's not an action game, but it sort of ends generically with you shoot the thing, and it's like.
And whenever you shoot it, it's not even like a combat scene where it's running at you and you're fighting or hiding or anything. The fucking creature's laying there on the ground, not helpless, but not doing anything. And then you just blam!
It's as action-packed as the ending of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You could have been Chief and just holding a pillow over the White Wolf's head to end it, as action-packed as it was. There he is, just lying down. Take him, Chief, or don't.
It would have been cooler if they would have kept that, like, silver mirror piece or whatever and stabbed the wolf to death or something. But because it's just, so flat.
Yeah, if that would have been one of the options of shoot him, don't shoot him, and yeah, somehow the silver piece comes in. Yeah, just very, here's this target that isn't moving. You can, would you like to shoot it? Like the other times when you're shooting at the werewolves, it's really quick. You got to shoot them. You got to be accurate, or you're fucking done.
Yeah, or what if Laura was transforming into the werewolf? But she was still sort of human, so she could have battled the white wolf or something. Just something to make it different than what it was.
That's actually what I was thinking in the scene where we have Laura Werewolf and Laura Chris. If they had enough of their own selves in them for her to want to start going after Werewolf Chris. I do agree.
Yeah, the game didn't give us that opportunity.
But yeah, you're just full werewolf. You do not have your facilities about you whatsoever.
Nope. Whenever your flesh explodes off of you, your brain's gone. For the night. I mean, I guess it just comes back to you. You double explode, which I guess is, if I had to guess, it's an homage to the Van Helsing movie. I don't know when it came out, but the werewolf in that
2004.
The werewolf in that would rip off its skin, and underneath it would be like the werewolf body, and then at the end of the night, it would rip off the werewolf fur and everything, and then there'd be a human body under it. So that's my assumption, is with the like layering. At the end, whenever you cure Laura, she's in the middle of being a werewolf, and then just is regular human in like 1 second. Yeah. So the transformations are very underwhelming.
And playing as a werewolf would also be another option I would love. So you get the Hacketts, the humans, and the werewolf.
Yeah, that actually does sound like the sequel that I would actually be interested in, of playing as the Hacketts and as the werewolf, doing the same events from the Hackett and the werewolf's perspective.
We should all tweet them at the same time. I think 3 tweets would get our sequel. And
Rochi, could you tweet them as well?
3 tweets is equivalent to 3 million tweets.
Who said that?
That's like, that's how the scale works.
Oh. Yeah, that's my excuse then.
It's like ratings. It's like when calls. Like 1 call is worth 1,000 calls.
100
like
tweets,
you can't have one person calling.
Like that's the entire world population wanting them to get it done.
Ray DeVito was like 1,000 pieces of shit.
I do love the Ray DeVito animation of the poop coming out of his chin dimple. Thank you, El Horrible, for introducing me to that.
Oh, Jesus.
Without trying to spoil it, what would probably be your favorite part of the game, Hughezy?
Honestly, and I know it sounds silly, but it's the part when you and Jacob are first... No, well, basically, it's when the sun's starting to set, and you realize, okay, the fun exploration part is done now. It's turned into a survival game, because up until then you can't die, but after that you could die at any minute, and to me that was just because it stays darker longer than it stays bright. And I thought, to me, that was the great bit. The log collecting.
Oh yeah, real exciting. I do love that some deaths are like you failing a quick time event or you picking run when you should have hid. But the deaths that I didn't like are ones that aren't clear at all. There's a death that happens right near the end of the game. It's essentially the only time in the game you get to play as Max from the very beginning of the game, and you make one choice as Max. You get one choice as Max.
I actually pulled that clip. That made me laugh so much. It's a this or that.
Good.
And it's, yeah, here you are. The werewolves are hurt by water. So there's an island that Laura kept Werewolf Max on. And if you're able to defeat the werewolf that infected him, he becomes a human. So this or that, stay on the island or don't stay on the island. And this is the choice I made, was not to stay on the island.
And this is a perfect example of how dumb the deaths can be in this game, where it's just, this is out of your hand now. Dillon picked this choice.
Yeah, I had this or that. There is very few choices you get to make as Max. This is like the one choice you make as Max. Do you even play as Max? You're Laura in the prologue.
Nope. This is the one chance.
This is the one chance you get a this or that as Max.
And that's it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think that Max is destined to die, because I'm pretty sure you die if you stay on the island or not. Like, either way, I
haven't picked that option yet.
According to the credits, it says Max survived the island, or survived the night by staying on the island, and then I believe it says, if Laura is still alive, meets up with Laura afterwards.
There's no way Max and Laura stayed together.
Fuck no!
Because how do you get over that and be like, hey, let's go see the Marvels tomorrow and get some Chinese food. By the way, remember that time we get attacked by a group of werewolves on that quarry and they ripped your eye out?
And then it healed because I turned into a werewolf for a couple of minutes?
Yeah. So did you ever add Jacob on Facebook? Did he survive?
I don't fucking care.
Yeah. How about Caleb? Do you still talk to Caleb Hackett, the only remaining Hackett from my first playthrough?
What about that?
Or Travis. Travis and Caleb were the only remaining Hacketts on my first playthrough. Second one, they both made it through, and they're not all supposed to make it through. You got to kill some of the Hacketts for a satisfying ending. Yeah,
this isn't a game where everyone can make it out. It's not.
Apparently, all the playable characters can, and I don't know how I'm going to keep Jacob alive. There's a very cryptic puzzle that I don't know the answer to of how to keep him alive at some point.
Right, because Jacob is hard because I would probably have to check a Wikipedia or whatever, but I'm pretty sure Jacob has the most chances to die out of any character because he does so many stupid things and trips over himself. There's a scene where he's trapped in one bear trap, and if he tries to get out of the bear trap and fails, he'll fall into another bear trap and die. This guy's an idiot.
Yeah, when you, as Jacob, you find the bloated body underwater, there's 2 or 3 opportunities, it appears, for you to just die immediately. I got out of the water, but the options they give you, I'm like, this other one seems like an insta-death. I'm going to go with the one where I'm alive and still hopefully have the rotator arm. And I don't even know how I fucking lost the rotator arm after retrieving it. I just went into the story section and it was like, it's gone forever. How is it gone forever? What the fuck? I picked it up.
Oh, in that scene, he leaves it in the water because he's drowning and he either has to leave it behind or drown. And as he's swimming up, even though he has it, he still lets it go and he's like, fuck it.
But there is a...
Because Jacob's an idiot.
Yeah, there is a DLC you can get for the game. I can't remember what it's specifically called, but part of it gives you the options to get what's known as rewind mode. And
if you beat the game, I think you unlock that.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got 3 rewinds after beating the game the first time.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, you can literally, old school watching a VHS, rewind the death scene and play it differently, which is kind of genius. But I also think that if they die, they die.
Right. Like, come on. I made the
Very
decision.
Rocky Four
Yeah.
of you.
The first character that I lost was Emma because I made a this or that choice and I chose the wrong one. And it's not like there's a quick time event to save yourself. Like you open a door, and if you open the door, you're dead. So it's not like you open the door and then mash A to run away or like hide quickly. Nope. If you open the door, Emma's dead. So
Yeah, Emma survived on both of mine. One, she never got infected. One, she got infected. I think I know several portions during Emma by herself where the where you're talking about. But yeah, I was lucky with Emma on my at one point when you choose right, there's you just know this other option is obviously an insta death. I'm not going to choose that one.
yeah, but with Max, it was not clear at all. It's, do I stay on the island and who knows what's going to happen on the island all night, or do I swim over there where everyone else is?
And you feel like I'm going to join people, and this will be like Max might save the day. He's been the victim this whole time, and he might be the one to save the day.
No, instant death.
You have exactly one choice with Max.
And it always makes you wonder which werewolf was that killed Max?
I believe it was Caleb.
Yeah, I think it's Caleb right before he goes and attacks, or right after. No, before he attacks the lodge.
Yeah,
because some of those scenes don't happen exactly like in order, and at the beginning of the scene, it makes sure to give you the timestamp of when it happens throughout the night. So if you pay really close attention to those, it will probably tell you. Because the only werewolves it probably could be is the White Wolf, which it probably wasn't, or Caleb at that point.
Actually, I think it did say in the ending part where where Max died by werewolf Caleb. I think it does explicitly tell you that it was Caleb at the ending section.
You're really making me want to play it again now.
I kind of want to play it again because there's a couple of choices that I definitely want to get. There's an achievement that's called We Should Have Gone to the Harbinger Motel, because once you play as Max, you pick up the matchbook from the Harbinger Motel, and that's what he says. We should have just gone to the Harbinger Motel. If you play the game and make the correct choices as Laura, instead of going to the end of the game with Travis and Ryan, she will go and meet up with Max instead.
Speaking of the Harbinger Motel, can we play this clip from the beginning? I want Travis saying this line on my audio board. This is a great line from very first thing. I am disappointed. It really doesn't make a difference. Here you have the option as Laura, save Max or don't save Max. It didn't make any difference.
No, the first actual choice in the game is rotor arm or fuel line.
Does this look like the goddamn Harbinger Motel to you?
This guy's such a good actor.
I love that line so much. Does this look like the goddamn Harbinger Motel to you? And that's actually a nice fake out, that gun blasting off, because you just assume that he just killed Max right there. Mm-hmm. But he shot his brother in werewolf form, not with silver, just shot him to get him to back off and keep this kid alive, who you're attempting to maul here.
I mean, and obviously it's full of plot holes when you think that why would they wait to now to go kill the brother? Were they just going to leave the brother to kill all these innocent people?
Yes, they weren't going to kill Chris.
They did not want to kill any of their werewolf-infected family. They were trying to keep everyone alive until you push them too far.
And anytime something bad happened, if you find all the evidence and all the clues throughout the game, there's like 20 pieces of Hackett evidence that shows how hard they are every year covering this shit up. They're hiding vehicles, they're erasing logs, they're stealing mail. Travis is a cop, so he can run the whole law enforcement. Once you get to the scene in Chapter 7, you realize there are no other cops. Travis is he is the police.
The sheriff is the only man in North Kill. Very funny name. The North Kill Police, and he is in charge of killing everyone to keep the hack. And the backstory: there was someone else who wasn't a Hackett who was the sheriff before, and nope, no more. There is one policeman in town who. Does this look like the goddamn Harbinger Motel? What a great read. I love this actor.
My favorite line from him is like the first one he reads you, where no, you're back on the road after he tows your car up. He's looking away and then he just turns and he's like, "Do you understand?" And it is so scary when his eyes like focus on like right into the dead center of the camera. This guy acts so well with his eyes.
And one of the things that's pretty funny is because, of course, these are real actors. You can get online the actors playing the game through, so it adds.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, so it adds a little bit more to it. I'm telling you, this is the future of video games. Like this type of pick your own story, but with like legitimate star actors and David Arquette.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is going to be brilliant.
They just have to act. Nice joke.
There you
But they just need to figure out how to actually put in multiple endings. There are other like choice-based games where the game can have like 8, 9, 10 actual endings where this character made it, this character didn't make it. The Quarry sets itself up to be that huge choice game.
Choose your own adventure.
It starts really wide. You have all these choices, but they all converge to the very top of the pyramid. And you only have the one choice at the end. If they could keep it wide as it goes out and, give you multiple endings, then I absolutely agree with you, Hughezy. This is a very popular genre that has a ton of potential to be very successful.
Yeah, taking the choose your own adventure books into video game form, like figuring out what is this game and being like, oh, the choose your own adventure books. This is a solid storytelling model. And yeah, absolutely feels like a horror movie of the time, of the 80s.
Even though you only have the 2 endings, really, I really like that throughout the game you have 15 paths that start showing up throughout the game. You have one that tracks what's happening between Travis and Laura, one that tracks between what's happening between Jacob and Emma, one that's like, oh, how well is your team working together as a whole? There's one that tracks what you're doing against the White Wolf. There are all of these different paths that are converging towards the end. And that is the really exciting and thrilling part for me, is figuring out which action is going to attach itself to which of these 15 paths. I think that was my favorite part of the game. And what about you, Dillon?
I enjoyed my favorite part of the game is when we start exploring the Hackett house. When you fall through and get into the mine shaft, that's where I found myself having the most fun. And also getting a nice dose of serotonin to the brain, of getting a bunch of the tarot cards like faster than usual. I got like the 4 tarot cards in short time, so it felt like I was accomplishing more by getting those little extra tarot cards. And yeah, so something about exploring the Hackett house, starting from down in the abandoned mines and working your way up, I found to be the most fun for me.
It sounded like you were going to say something, Hughezy. Before Dillon. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say Trump 2024.
Oh, yeah. Are we all going to go vote together? Well, you can't vote for Trump.
I just fake it.
Well, I mean, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Hughezy, for joining us. Is there anything that you would like to promote? Anything you're working on?
Yes. So what I always do around this time of year is that I record a shitload of podcast episodes so that I can get a lot of clickbait for YouTube. But I'll never admit to that. All through the Christmas season. So if you go subscribe to Hughezy Entertainment on YouTube, we will find all years worth of clips of just me completely stirring the shit within the Dabbleverse. Just an hour and a half ago, I think, before recording this, I was speaking to Carl from Shut Up and Dance With Me fame. He did a cover of that. He will be coming on for a Christmas episode. Hopefully trying to track down Alex Stein again, because he's cancelled on me twice. So I'll give him a third and final chance before he makes my list of enemies. So Huge Entertainment on YouTube, and spam the comment section. I don't care.
All right. Thank you very much, Hughezy. And my co-host, Dillon, go ahead and plug your channel. I know you're working on a lot of things.
Yes, Dillon from somewhere over on YouTube. I've got to start doing the work to get the co-host audition episodes out in an audio-only format to help try to expand my audience.
I knew you.
Yes, sir.
You were just on BYB a couple of days ago.
Yes, sir.
Oh my
BYB
God.
with the Quadfather. I had a lot of fun with the Quadfather. He was a fan of my content, and yeah, it's slow going, getting an audience base so far, but the people who do find it are a big fan, and I know it appeals to some audiences and not others, so hoping people will find the co-host auditions where I take an existing show and show them what it would be like if I was there in the studio with them to be their co-host. Chatting with beloved chatters, might be expanding to chatting with more people beyond just chat room folks. And right before this show was TikTok Around the Clock, where I show you the madness going on with TikTok Live. Some of my viewers hate TikTok, but they can get through it with the lens of this fool watching it for them.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. And thank you to everyone in the comments who stuck around and was chatting at. Until then, we'll see you next time.